Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mo again. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to continue with making my second server, which is the server 2022, as a replica to an existing domain that started with 2019. Remember, let me just show you my 2019 server. Let me go to users and computers. We actually set up some organizational units, users, groups, computers, right? But watch this. When I right click the domain and I choose properties, my domain function level is 2016, which means I can actually have 2016 domain controllers and higher. I cannot bring in something lower than 2016. And my farthest function level is 2016, which means I could start a new domain with an actual server that is 2016, like a child domain. So what I'm going to do is if I check under domain controls, I only have the 2019, right? So I'm going to go to the 2022. I'm going to look at a full screen and make this domain controller as a replica. So let me promote, and I'm going to leave it as add a domain controller to an existing domain, and I'm going to put udemy.local, right? Change, and of course, I need to have domain admin rights to make a replica in an existing domain. So I'm going to put udemy/administrator, and here's the password. And I'm going to go next and take the defaults. I'm not going to put DNS yet. I'll install DNS after this, but I'm going to make sure it's also a global catalog server, right? And here is the password. But I need more than one DNS server because these two domain controls are actually in the same site. Now, what's the best thing to do? Instead of an upgrade, it's always better to merge, and I'll show you how that works. So let me install. Just keep watching. It's going to check the domain status upgrade if it's allowed or not. All right. So we're going to see all of this. So let's give this a moment. It's not going to take long. The database is kind of small of Active Directory, so it's not going to take a while to sync. See, did the schema itself. So let me just show you something on my 2019 server. I'm going to actually go to DNS and store the zones in Active Directory. So when I install DNS on the 2022, it will get automatically populated. So watch this. Let me go to properties. There you go. It's restarting. All right, change. Store the zones in AD, right? And I'm going to make it as secure only, right? Then okay. And this one is going to restart. It should not take long. But let me check my domain controller. So you here? I see two. All right, this is good. If I check DNS, when I open the TCP folder, more records should populate. Like I should see a GC, Kerberos, K password, LDAP, right, for my 2022 server. So it should actually start populating in a few seconds while this one is actually logging on. Then I'll install DNS here and just make sure this is also has a copy of the zone udemy.local. So let's give it a moment. Let me refresh. Okay. Upgrade, lots of times things go wrong. So when I say replica, it's like I'm going to actually make my 2022 as a replica, which is about to become one right now after the login. But then what I could do is transfer the FISMA roles from the 2019 to the 2022. Make sure my 2022 is a GC. It has the FISMA roles. It has DNS. Now my clients are pointed to it, right? Then I could decommission my 2019 server and start bringing in other 2022 servers, right? That's the best approach instead of an actual upgrade. So always merge, right? That's like the best option to actually do, just to be on the safe side. Things go wrong when there's an actual upgrade. Let me refresh. There you go. See, I have a GC for my 2022. I have Kerberos for my 2022. I have K password for my 2022 and LDAP for the 2022. It's good to know the port numbers, especially if there's a firewall that is actually involved. But if I check the zone, how many name servers do I have? I just have one name server, which means all my clients only can be pointed to this server, including this server right over here, right? So what I'm about to do is after I log on, I want to make sure this is actually a DNS server, right? Let me look at a full screen on this one. And I want to make sure that the zone is actually populated, right? Let's verify that. So in that case, I would have two name servers. So always avoid the upgrade when it comes up to a DC. Always do a merge. And then you can ask yourself, what is the difference between both? Well, one of them is a GC, probably the other one is not. One of them has the FISM roles, the other one doesn't. We know how to move those and transfer those, right? And enable it as a GC. So I made this as a GC during the promotion. I'm just going to open Active Directory users and computers and verify that I have the same organizational units, the users, the group, the computer, that everything actually synced. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and install DNS just to make sure the zone gets actually populated. All right. That's what we're going to do. Let's give this a few more moments until it continues. So let's see. Let me go to Tools and Active Directory, Users and Computers. And let's take a look and see if everything's synced. All right, that's what we want to see, if everything actually synchronized between both domain controllers. And then I'll install DNS. Let's give it a moment. There we go. There you go. I got sales, objects, tech. This is good. Look, if I go to the properties, my domain function level is still 16, which means I can support 16 and higher. Let me install DNS to make sure the zone is actually there. So this is also a DNS server, right? I want to make sure that it's also running DNS. So when I decommission my 2019 server, I do have an actual DNS server here. So let me click Add Features all the way through and install, right? So I should see the zone once I open DNS because I actually stored the zones in Active Directory, all right? That's what we did. We stored the zones in Active Directory. I only have a forward lookup zone, so I don't have a reverse. We saw the difference between them in the DNS section. In this section, what I'm going to be doing is when I transfer the FISMA roles, I'm going to do it through the GUI. When we actually did this, we did it through the command line. So I'll show you how it's done also through the GUI, the graphical user interface. So you'll have a chance to see either way what suits you, what makes you more comfortable. I always recommend the command line. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the command line. So it depends what do you actually prefer. This one is almost finished. Let's take a look. Let's see. All right. As I said, I could always close and it will still be running in the background, right? So you could always close and this will be running in the background. As long as you see it in the list over here, that means it's actually installed, right? That's how you can tell which roles are installed on a server by looking on the left-hand side. There you go. Then I'll open DNS. If I refresh here, I can see it. Tools and DNS. And I should see the actual zone. Let me restart the service. Let's see how this works. Refresh. There you go. Here's the zone. I got two name servers. So this looks good. I now know that my server 2022 is also a DNS server. But if I check the FISMA roles, let me open the command prompt better. Let me just show you. So if I check the FISMA roles, right? Let's do color 2 for green. And I do netdom query, and I do FISMO. I can see everything is pointing to the 2019 server, right? You see that? Okay, what I just made sure here in this lecture that they both actually synced. Everything is fine. Whatever I do on one replicates to another. So they're talking to each other. And DNS is running on my 2022. In our next lecture, I'm going to transfer the FISMA roles to the 2022 and decommission the 2019. So we'll see you folks in a moment. All right, for now, bye.